Now the key to everything is the breath. So before we get going, I just need to make sure that you guys all know that the diaphragm, which sits at the bottom of our lungs, which is our breathing mechanism, it pulls downwards and spreads outwards to pull breath into our lungs. That is the top of our whole core system. And the bottom of the core system is our pelvic floor. It's the diaphragm as well. And the pelvic floor, if we sits sort of there, and the diaphragm sits here. And they work synergistically together. And then at the front of our core, we've got our deep transverse abdominal muscles. So if you just cut away my tummy, underneath, right against the spine, is my deep corsatory muscle at the front, which is my transverse abdominal muscles. And at the back, right around the spine, is the multifidi muscles, the extensor muscles. So these guys here and here, they make up the core, the canister. And inside is the pressure system. And like I said, about 20 pounds of weight of all our organs, etc. And we need to make sure that we work with the diaphragm and the pelvic diaphragm together and all of the pressure here. And we do that with the breath, yeah? So how much air is in the lungs or not in the lungs, by making sure that we are diaphragmatically breathing well. So I thought I would get you all to stand up with me. We're going to start getting to a bit of action here. So standing up with me. And you'll need a bit of wall space for this. So before I do anything much more, I'm just going to get you to open and loosen up your body. So I do a lot of this sort of stuff in my class, to warm up my classes. Just move your pelvis around in a big circle. Big circle for the pelvis, as if you've got a hula hoop and you're very slowly moving the hula hoop around. So action like this is great for us ladies. And as you are moving your pelvis around, try and loosen your jaw as well. And just start to pull the breath in through the back of your nostrils. Imagine it's going right past your ears and into the back of your head. So if you imagine that, it just helps to get the breath into the back of your lungs. When we mobilize the pelvis around in a circle, what we're doing is we're loosening these psoas muscles that connect the top part of the body to the bottom part of the body. They go right through the pelvic floor, they go right through the diaphragm, and they insert into your lower back. So when these guys are tight from too much sitting, these hip flexors, we tend to get grotty, sore, pinchy lower back issues. We tend to get tight pelvic floor issues like urgency. So this just kind of opens up the psoas, it releases lower back pain, it releases tension around the sacrum, the back of the pelvis, and we're getting lovely blood flow down through those organs. And just the movement is getting those pelvic floor muscles to thump, to open, close, get some blood flow through them. So I suggest to my ladies that I teach, you know, when you're brushing your teeth, when you're putting the kettle on, circle the pelvis. Try and do this every single day. Make sure your weight is in your heels, so down through the back of your feet. And you're not in the front of your toes, because that just puts pressure in your knees. So weight in the heels, circling one direction, other direction. I tend to make my students take the arms up or out just so we get good ability to breathe. Diaphragm comes down, and then we open our lungs to the sides. In between the ribs, we have the intercostal muscles. We want those working with the diaphragm to get lovely, deep, slow breaths. That's the way. And then take your weight into one leg, come up onto your toes, and just bring your knee inwards. Yeah, so that's making the adductors, the inner thigh muscles work. And we draw the knee in and then out, in, out, in, out. And see if you can feel the hip joint mobilizing. So the top of the femur, thigh bone is rolling around into the pelvis, so like that. Yeah, and then take your hands, I'm just drop my little piece of paper. Take your hands across in the opposite direction. So this is the twist. Just like Elvis Presley used to do, the twist. It's great for toning around the waist. All of the nerves of the body connect into our spine. So when we are doing sort of twists like this, we're activating the whole nervous system. And I'm mobilizing the whole of this hip area and mobilizing into the pelvic floor muscles. So this is a really good one to keep those hip joints nice and mobile, and we're getting all the extra bonuses of the waist toning, pelvic floor releasing as well. So one side, and then the other, you might need to stop and just in and out with your knee first to get that rhythm, and then arms opposite, and like that. So I encourage people to do what I call a tea break twist and twirl. So you've got 2 minutes when your kettle is boiling. You do a little bit of this, and then you do a little bit of your twirling of your pelvis around in a circle as well. So just getting everything warmed up. That's the way. And then take the arms up and behind you. We just want to make sure that the shoulders aren't stuck. So backward swimming. This mobilizes. Oh, shoulder girdle. Helps us to get this area open as well, so that we can start to breathe properly. Oh, that's it. That's the way. Now, give your body a shake. I want you just to feel into your body what it's like when we are sitting, standing as if we've just been sitting for a long time. So we tend to, this is what we tend to do, start to become tight. So toes tend to go out slightly. We tend to be tight in our hamstrings and our calves, so the pelvis tends to be slightly tucked under. And we tend to exacerbate this as women because we want to make ourselves look skinny, so we pull our tummy in and we pull our bum under. So we exacerbate something that's going to make our pelvic floor not work. So just do this now so you can feel what it's like in your body. Put your toes out, stuck your tummy in, and then tuck your toe right under. And because we've been sitting at our desk or we've been looking at our phone, our shoulders tend to be rolled forward into the front of the sockets, and these chest muscles, pectoral muscles, they're called, these are tight, and our upper back muscles are weak. And because our pelvises are forward, and our head always sits, it'll always sit on top of the pelvis, and this is like 10 pounds of weight. It's like a Christmas turkey, the weight of our head. So our head tends to poke forward. And just feel what it's like in your body doing that. Tell me if it feels nice. If it feels horrible, do that. It feels disgusting, doesn't feel awful. So can you breathe like this? Just try and breathe and notice how you can't. You have to do shallow breathing or lift your shoulders in order to get enough breath in. And of course, that's the tension of the weight of your head on your neck and your upper back, and the tension around your shoulders and here is very quickly amplified. And you can feel the tension around here. Now, what we tend to do as well is lift the ribcage. When someone says, put your shoulders back, you're hunching. We'll lift our chest and we'll pull our shoulders back. We'll do that. Of course, this is exaggerated, but we tend to lift our head and like that. And this just destabilizes all of our core muscles, and it will cause immense tension in the mid-back, right around the bra strap. This is what I used to do. I used to think I was standing well, and I'd be standing like this, essentially. And a lot of us who did ballet when we were little, well, we stand like a soldier. So I'm going to get you to rinse all of that out of your body. And what we want is stacked alignment. So I'm going to teach you getting tall against the wall, which is this exercise that I sort of made up to help people feel what it's like to have their head stacking right on top of their neck, on top of their shoulders, on top of the pelvis, on top of the knees, and on top of the ankles. So you're going to need a bit of wall space for this. And hopefully you will feel like you are nice and tall, so we can start to get into our breathing. Like I said, we can't breathe when we're like that, not properly. So getting tall against the wall. I'll come here. Actually, can you see me better here? I'll start here, then I'll go there. I just want you to see my heels against, which are about a couple of inches away from the wall. Knees stay slightly bent, feet are hip width apart. So when I say hip width apart, I mean from the hip bones at the front through the knees, through the middle toes. So not the outer hips, the hip bones. And those of you who know that you collapse a little bit in through the inner arches and knees go in, I want you to really focus on pushing the outer edges of your feet into the ground. Don't lift your toes, but just press in through the outer feet and through the heels, so the inner arches feel like they're kind of sucking up off the ground. Now, it might feel like you want to lock your knees. Try not to. Just have soft knees here. So not bent, but just not locked. Just soft. Okay, so I'm going to go back here so you can see me, hopefully. Feet are straight forward. Now, press the back of your pelvis into the wall from the sacrum here. The sacrum is the bony bit here at the back. Press that bit into the wall. I like to imagine there's a hole in the wall, and I've got a tail. The tail's gone through the wall. There's somebody on the other side of the wall, and they're very gently pulling the tail back into the wall. Now, you want to start to press the upper back into the wall. And to do this, to get full contact, lift and roll one shoulder like that, and then drop into the back of the socket. Put the back of your arm and the back of your hand into the wall. And then do the same on the other side. So you lift and roll, and back of the hand, back of the forearm, into the wall. So like that. Actually, it's better if I just stand here and pretend I've got a wall behind me. Now, you might find that this area is poking off the wall. You've got contact here, and you've got contact here. So I'm going to get you to draw back, round where your brow strap is. See if you can draw back there, and that'll help you draw the rib cage down and in so that you become straighter. And then you need to organize your head. So chin in, give yourself a double chin, not down, not up, straight back. And we want to get contact with the back of our head, if we can, onto the wall. So if you have more kyphosis, which means you are already quite rounded through the upper back, then you might not be able to get contact at the moment. It can come. I've taught a woman who had really severe kyphosis. It took about a year, but she was straight afterwards, and she could get contact, and it was her posture improved dramatically. So back of the arms, bra strap, pushing back, bum pushing back, head gently pressing into the wall, chin is in, knees are soft, push down and slightly out with your feet, the inner arches suck upwards, and we're just going to hold this position so that our brain can feel the wall into the back of the body, and we imprint it into the back of the body. Now, see if you can breathe down here into those intercostal muscles, as opposed to lifting your shoulders to breathe. See if you can focus the breath down here. I'm just going to stay here for about 30 seconds or so. Pushing down and out with the feet, soften the knees, back with the bum. Bra strap sucking back towards the wall. Forearms pressing into the wall, palms open, back of the hands into the wall, back of the shoulders into the wall, ridge of the head into the wall. Keep breathing. Good. Over there. Okay, just come off the wall. Now you will feel like the Tin Man, so just walk forward and then give your upper body a slow circle, one direction, other direction. Just release. Now restack. Restack your head on top of your neck. I like to tell my students to imagine you've got a really heavy crown on your head. Yeah, so you've got to push your head up into the crown, like the Queen does. And then, like the Queen, imagine you have a very heavy ermine cloak over your shoulders to keep your shoulders kind of down rather than the drift, the shoulder drift up. And just stand here for a moment. So if we're standing in alignment, most of our weight, I'd say 70% of our weight is in our heels, not in our toes. And if you've been standing for decades like that, getting into alignment is going to feel really super weird, and you'll probably feel like you're about to fall over. If we were to lock our knees and we're in good alignment, we would fall over. We'd fall over backwards, yeah? So that's a little test. And similarly, if you're in good alignment and your pelvis is in neutral, so not tucky-tucky, not flary in overload doses, but just neutral, you'll have a little dint where those psoas muscles are at the front here. When we're sucked and tucked, that's all hard and flat. There's a little dint behind us behind. I like to imagine it's a kangaroo tail attached to my sacrum, dropping down and back, yeah? So your behind needs to be behind you.